Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The current long-range meta here in Warzone post Season 2 Reloaded has some really competitive options across the board. We've got a couple of different weapon categories that ultimately do offer some really good choices depending on your style of play and what you are the most competitive with yourself. So today, I wanted to go through all the best long-range meta options we have in the game as of right now, starting first with probably the most difficult to use on the list here today, but if you're good with semi-auto guns, you're gonna be able to reap the rewards that the MCW 6.8 offers. This thing's TTK over range is one of the best in the entire game. Its only drawback is that it is semi-auto, so it's very interceptor-like. It's a lot more forgiving than the interceptor, but you do have to have that higher skill gap of being able to spam weapons consistently while maintaining accuracy on enemies over long distances. If you can do that though, like if you're good at the interceptor, this thing's gonna be just fine for you, right? Initially here I am going for the Spirit Fire Suppressor. Helps out with that range, that velocity, that control, obviously just making us even more efficient in the mid to long range. Bruen heavy support is going to be very important here for a handful of reasons. When you're spamming that recoil bounce and whatnot, it's noticeable, so attacking the horizontal and the gun kick is great, but you're also getting better aiming stability and firing aiming stability, which means that the recentering on a semi-auto gun is going to be more efficient and quicker, so when you're spamming, it's going to be way easier to consistently land shots on a target. I also go for the 60 round drum. This is something the other marksmans just don't have, and it's so clutch getting this much sniper ammo or 6.8 Wrath ammo in there, so that you don't have to worry about running out. You do that so frequently, some of the other marksmans. That's just not a scenario with this thing. 2.5 times Eagle Eye Optic works great for the mid to long range. Then I also go for the Assault Stock on here, just straight up better control across the board, making the weapon a whole lot easier to use. So this thing, like I said, bit of a higher skill gap compared to the other options here today, but it's so good. Now, the LMG category offers a lot of really competitive options for the long range, some of the best in the game if I'm being honest. The DG58, which for whatever reason they had to place just on the right side of the screen and they couldn't center it, is ridiculously good. It is very low recoil, so its ease of use is phenomenal. Anyone can pick this thing up and do really well with it, and it hits hard. It's got a fast TTK over the mid to long range. So initially here, we got really good velocity on this thing with some of the other attachments running. We're just over 1,000, which is great. So I go for the Cast and Spray Compensator. Helps out directly with that horizontal control and the firing aim stability. So this weapon's gonna be super predictable and very consistent, even over, 80, 90, 100 meter fights if you find yourself in those situations. I got the Woody Long Barrel. Helps out with idle sway, which is obviously clutch on all weapons. Velocity, range, and control. So 4 in 1 there. Just super effective for mid to long range as well. Bruen heavy support, idle sway, firing aim stability, horizontal control benefits across the board. This is really clutch for making the weapon easier to use. It's an LMG, so we don't need an extended mag. 60 works just fine. I go for an Eagle Eye Optic. Perfect for mid to long range yet again. And then the rubber butt plate, because this does actually speed it up and makes it a bit more versatile. The weapon's already so easy to use that getting some better strafe speed or movement speed or ADS speed is nice to have if you find yourself in 40, 50, 60 meter fights and you want a little bit more mobility there. It works really well and adds in some versatility to the overall loadout. Ton of fun to use, and it shreds. Hey everyone, real quick, wanted to take a second and highlight gamer advantage. Of course, in every single video, you guys see me rocking my Horizon frames, and even when I'm not recording videos, these are on all day, every day. I've said it before, I'll say it again. These are by far the most important part of my day-to-day setup. And the reason for that is that these allow me to be the most efficient I can be every single day. Wearing them, I'm getting reduced headaches, reduced eye strain, and best of all, I'm sleeping better at night so I can wake up feeling nice and refreshed every single day to get back on that grind to make content for y'all. So if you're looking at screens for long periods of time, whether it be playing games, doing work, doing school, whatever the case is, do yourself a favor, get a pair of Gamer Advantage glasses. They offer prescription and regular lenses, a bunch of different frames and colorways, a little bit of something for everyone. And if you do want to pick up a pair, throw in code Immortal at checkout and it'll get you a nice little discount. The link for that will be down in the description below if you're interested. Now the Holger 26 is right up there as well. Also insanely low recoil, so it's very easy to use, and its TTK is super competitive over the long range too. So you're really a choice of preference here. Do you love the feel of the DG? Do you love the feel of the Holger? Maybe some other options that we're about to get to. Whatever one you're the most comfortable with is the one you're probably going to excel with the most, because they're all so close and so competitive with one another. So initially here, the velocity is only 938 with all these attachments on it, so I do go for the Spirit Fire Suppressor to increase that some, alongside some range and some control. Bruen heavy support, yet again, no changes there. The Factory Barrel will help out with range, velocity, and control. Unfortunately, no 4-in-1 here, no added idle sway or anything like that, so that's a bit of a drawback, but it's still an efficient barrel. Again, 60 rounds rounds works just fine with this fire rate, so no need for an extended mag. We go for the Eagle Eye Optic, and then just to make things easy, we got the Ascent Lord stock. Better stability, better gun kick control, making the weapon even more predictable and even easier to use, which is, like I said, at its core, already super simple. This thing's going to be a laser beam. Quick reminder, by the way, as we're going through all the loadouts here today, if you are new to the channel or you simply have not subscribed yet, let's change that, because every single day I got you covered with the news, updates, patch notes, and meta breakdowns for MW3 and Warzone. So feel free to hit that sub button, turn on those post notifications to stay up to date with that stuff. And if you enjoy this video, or if you find it helpful, you're using the screenshots to get your builds in game, do me a favor and drop a like on it. It's always really appreciated. Another great LMG, in my opinion, my personal favorite and the best LMG, the Bruen. They buffed this thing's aggressiveness with Season 2 Reloaded. It's feeling so good right now over the mid to long range. Thing just absolutely melts. Initially here again, we got the Spirit Fire suppressor, range, velocity, and control. I go for the Ferocity barrel here right now. Better range, better velocity. If you do want better control, just switch on over to the Horizon. The range won't be as good, but its range is already really very good as is, so that's not a huge loss, and you get a little bit of velocity there as well. Bruen heavy support yet again. I do go for the 60 round mag here, down from the default 100, just to really speed things up. This makes it super aggressive, much more in line with some of those other LMGs, and I love the feel of this. And then the glassless optic would work for the long range just because it's so clean. Obviously though, Eagle Eye 2.5 times is another standard there. That's just more so a preference thing. I've really been enjoying glassless though, and I feel like it makes the Bruen have like no recoil with that better firing aim stability. It's very predictable and very reliable. Now we also got to talk some snipers for the long range meta, because there are a couple that absolutely are viable right now. The Stalker is kind of the in-between one, just because long range sniping, you think maybe 100 meters, 150 meters, but this is obviously limited to its first damage range for one-shot knocks. And with this build in specific, it's a combination of a decent ADS speed and decent range. So we've got about a 70-meter one-shot, which I find to be pretty reliable across Urzikstan and then all the Resurgence maps as well, if you are an aggressive sniper. Initially here we do got the Stoic suppressed barrel. It'll help out with that range, and like I said, that 70.1 meter range is where we can one-shot headshot regardless of ammo type. So that's obviously pretty, convenient for a lot of fights you're going to find yourself in. High grain ammo is also going to extend that damage range even more and get us to that 70 meter mark. So that this and the barrel combined really give us a solid chance at one-shot headshotting a lot of enemies. I don't love the base optics, so I go for the 6.6 times scope. I'm very comfortable with this. If there's a different optic you like more, always go for comfortability here for sure. No stock to speed things up. A better ADS speed, better base movement speed as well, and a better strafe speed are all very convenient for a sniper build. And then just behind the face cam here, I'll go ahead and hide that. We've got the Stalker light bolt, which just gives me a faster rechambering speed, so I can get shots off a little bit quicker in between one another. If I need to get that cleanup or I need to get that secondary shot to knock an enemy, I can quickly get that off there without any worries. But a really fun and really aggressive sniper setup here. And then obviously the true long range meta sniper is going to be the KATT, because this thing can one-shot headshot at 5 meters if you're quick scoping or no scoping, or at 205 meters at super long ranges if you know the bullet drop, right? This thing is the true beast of the sniper category here, because it's not restricted in any way, shape, or form. Really all I care about here is extending the velocity. So I go for the Nightfall suppressor, 15% increase with very minimal cons to the ADS like some other attachments would give you more of. I go for the Zang barrel, a 10% increase to the velocity here, and then high velocity ammo, a 20% increase to the velocity there. So we're up just over 1,000. That works great for long range sniping. I then go for the tactical pad stock for a faster ADS speed, just to keep it a little bit more aggressive, gain some back for what we just lost. Then again, just behind the face cam, I go for the quick bolt. Once more, just that faster rechambering speed so I can get those 5 shots off a little bit quicker there. Really good sniper setup. I do wish there was more variety in the class in general though. The new SOA Subverter absolutely falls into the long range meta. This thing is low recoil and has one of the best long range TTKs in the entire game. So you throw this thing on, you're gonna be sitting pretty. You're gonna be able to fry players at really all ranges here. First up, I got the Cassis break on here. Helps out with that horizontal control and firing aim stability. Really makes this weapon very predictable and very easy across all ranges. The Dozer 90 long barrel, better range, velocity control, and better idle sway, or stability rather there. So it's going to end up helping out a lot with just, again, predictability, making the weapon more reliable and consistent where it's the most effective to begin with. Bruen heavy support on here, better control across the board. 50 round extended mag, and then I like the default iron sights. I find myself to be pretty accurate with these over long distances. So I go for the heavy stock. Helps out again just with basic control. That said, if you really want that extra visibility at longer ranges, I'd probably drop the stock and throw on a 2.5 times or a glassless optic or something like that, whatever you're the most comfortable with. But this thing absolutely beams and it melts. This thing's fast TTK and low recoil create the perfect storm, I guess you could say. And then lastly here for the rifles, I've got the SVA. There are a lot of other really good rifles in the category. You know, the BP50 is pretty solid, but its damage per mag over long range is a little bit iffy. I feel like it thrives the most in the mid range. The Ram 7 drops off pretty hard at around 40-45 meters, so that's more of like a mid-range one as well. In terms of a long-range assault rifle, to me, the SVA 545 is what stands out the most as a decent long-range TTK and really easy to use. If you wanted to use this in hyper burst, you could change up the setup a little bit and it's going to have like no recoil and be really efficient. You just have to be accurate while tapping a semi-auto gun. But even in full auto, this thing's very straightforward, and that's where I like using it more. It's a little bit more predictable and reliable for me in full auto, just because I can spray and pray and easily land shots, right? Spirit fire suppressor to kick things off here, range, velocity, and control, keeping us off the mini map, of course. The precision barrel, better range, velocity, control, and idle sway, so a little bonus 4th edition there, making the gun a bit easier. Bruen heavy support, better control, better sway and stability there, making it very predictable. 60 round extended mag works fine. Here it is, the max in this fire rate. You're never going to have to worry about running out of ammo in an awkward situation. Then lastly, 2.5 times eagle eye, pretty straightforward. Like I said, this is built around full auto. If you were going for semi-auto, you could probably drop Bruen heavy support and maybe throw on something like high velocity or you know, high grain if you wanted to as well, and that could be really, really convenient for just long range efficiency too. So definitely depends on if you find yourself to be better in semi-auto or hyper burst versus full auto. Either way, the gun is good though. There's no wrong answer, that's for sure. And that being said, that's the current long range meta breakdown here in Warzone after season 2 Reloaded. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.